Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just a video here on Square. I'd have to look back to see if I've talked about them or not. If I have, it's probably been once or twice. But they have a lot of great news coming out here. So again, this is Square. Ticker is SQ. Can't get any simpler than that. Here's a look at what it's done over the last year. So this one is just a powerhouse total growth stock. I'm kicking myself not getting into it now. I mean, even at a year ago would have been a great price. Actually, if you want to see what it's done over the last 5 years, that's wow, totally amazing. But up over 2,500% in the last 5 years. So even if you just had all of your, I know you're not supposed to put them all in one basket, but even if you put all of your money into Square, you'd be hitting it big right now. So could have got into it for 11, 20 bucks. Looks like it ran up to 100, which is pretty awesome. Cut back, and then it kind of traded kind of sideways, 50, 60, $70 range. Had another pullback to 38, of course, on the as we all went to delete last year, and then ever since then it's just ran up. So even if you'd have got in it then, it's just done amazing. So, and here's a look at the last year, up over 100%. The last 3 months, up over 8%. Last month, 8%. Last week, up over 5%. And here today, so that's been the only one that hasn't had been in the green. But if you don't know what Square is, it's a provision of credit card payment processing solutions. It is a cohesive commerce ecosystem that helps sellers start, run, and grow their businesses. So I was in Breckenridge a couple years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, and a lot of the stores, vendors there were using Square. I was kind of amazed. I really started looking into Square at that time. I do have Square, but I have it in M1 Finance, but I might have some in TD Ameritrade, but I do not have any here in Robinhood. This has been around since 2009. Total growth stock, like I said, 11.47 million. Average volume, market cap of 100, and we'll just call it 122 billion. And not too bad of ratings, 58% buy, so can't beat that on a stock like this. But lots of good information coming out here. Co-founders were key to Afterpay's appeal, early investor says. This is just dated actually, well, today on the 3rd. So venture capitalist Dana Stalder understands why Square Incorporated CEO Jack Dorsey was impressed by Afterpay Limited co-founders. General partner at the U.S.-based venture capital firm Matrix Partners was only expecting to offer advice when he met in 2017, and Steady soon offered to help fund the Australian buy now pay later platform's expansion to the United States. And so this will be interesting to see what it does to the share price, and obviously it's down a little bit today, but this is going to go back up, and this is still going to continue to grow. So this is a definite long-term play for me, although I don't have any in this account. Like I said, I have some in M1 Finance, but Robinhood, I believe even Fidelity, if you don't have $200 laying around, you can buy partial shares in it. So throw 10, 20 bucks at it a month, something like that. So anything helps. So but PayPal Holdings former commercial chief Mr. Stadler has been an Afterpay board member since 2018, when Matrix invested $15 million in what was then known as Afterpay Touch. Mr. Stalder said he immediately struck by the fact that the Australian and entrepreneurs were both humble and laser focused on getting successful. So a lot more information in here, just kind of some talk in regards to ideas. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through this. Again, you can find this in the Robinhood news. Just type in Square. That's where I found this. So this year, waived 35% of the unwind interest it held in Afterpay's U.S. unit for 370 million Australian dollars in cash, while the 0.9 stake it hold in the overall company is valued at $343 million by Square's offer of 126.21 a share. So, and so right now the current price is at $267. So like I said, if you don't have $267 laying around, throw 10-20 bucks at it, or $50 a month, or whatever you have to do if it's a stock that you believe in. Again, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, just stating my opinion. But that's what I would do on it. So the $20 billion deal in 11 weeks, how Square bought Afterpay. So they introduced the world to expressing itself just 140 characters as the creator of a Twitter, and his payments company, Square Incorporated, also likes getting straight to the point. So I didn't know he had Twitter and Square. That's very interesting. So very interesting individual. It'd be two good companies to have. Square's purchase of Australian buy now, pay later provider Afterpay Limited for $29 billion in stock, the largest ever acquisition by Dorsey's firm, was consummated within 3 months, said 4 people with knowledge of the deal talks. Such a short time is regarded as uncommon in the world of huge cross-border M&As, where armies of advisors can spend months negotiating key terms and poring over books and business plans to ensure there are no hidden skeletons. And so again, the largest buyout ever of the Australian firm. So we'll see what this does to the stock. The Australian firm's share price slumped 10% on July 14th on media reports that Apple was working on buy now, pay later feature in coordination with Goldman Sachs Group. And so they're all, once one does it, they're all going to look into it and all kind of copy each other, just like anything else. So anytime you make money one way and other companies recognize that, there's just going to be more and more that's going to do the exact same thing. So which is all good, which creates competition. Competition's good. So just look at Walmart, Costco, and Target. So, and Amazon. Got to throw Amazon in there, and may as well throw Shopify in there. So, Square Buys Afterpay, what you need to know. And again, this is just dated here today. So again, the plan to acquire the digital payment giant stock is up more than 10% on Monday. Square is making a big bet on the Buy Now, Pay Later, or BNPL company, which began its expansion in the United States in 2018 and now earns almost half of its revenue in the States. Afterpay is one of the pioneers in the BNPL trend, which has exploded in popularity with younger shoppers. Founded in 2015, the company now has over 16.2 billion users globally, and allows consumers to finance small purchases, usually less than $1,000, through participating merchants with no credit checks or interest charges. The model has taken share from traditional credit cards, prompting many big banks and payment providers to create their own iterations of BNPL. So, might give MasterCard and Visa, Discover, and American Express all something to talk about, and they might be changing their game if they start losing part of that percentage of the credit sales as well. So, which I've talked about all those on the channel here as well. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. I own all the stocks. I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, but if I had to stay in a long-term stock for the rest of my life, those would definitely be 4 of them. Plus, I'd add Square and PayPal into the mix. So you can create a pie on M1 Finance, and if you're looking to get into M1 Finance, you can find the link in my description and get yourself some free stock. But you can throw 10-20 bucks into each one of those and create your own pie, which is kind of interesting, which is what I've done. So But each to his own, so do your own thing. So Morning Bell with Jim Cramer, Square's brilliant acquisition of Afterpay. This is just out an hour ago. So the streets, Jim Cramer said he sees Square $29 billion takeover in Australia's Afterpay as an overpay, but added the Wall Street thinks that Square can do no wrong. So Cramer noted the services buy now, pay later are red hot with millennials, and that's why the acquisition of Australian payments rival was so well received. Square said buy now, pay later represents a huge opportunity for the company, as deferred payments still only account for 2% of the total online sales. So there's still room to grow here. There's only 2%. That's nothing. So millions of sales at only a 2% of the total online sales is just not even a blink or a dot on the line. So definitely room for this one to run. So bottom line, buy now, pay later is a necessity if you're a millennial, Cramer said on Mad Money. And if you're a millennial, Wall Street wants to follow companies and that cater to you. Most definitely, because that's a big pool of money, and a lot of millennials like to spend money, and so, I mean, everybody likes to spend money. So Cramer called the acquisition brilliant, noting the analysts loved the deal as well, and several of them lifted their price targets or upgraded the stock. Here you can kind of see raised it to 310 from 280, so a 30% increase. That's huge. So another thing, when I see something like that, doing an option on it might even be something to look into. So Square believes that the $10 trillion in online payments, only 2% is buy now, pay later. Cramer said that's a lot of room to run. So just as I said earlier, that is huge right there, only 2%. $29 billion in less than 3 months, how Square bought Afterpay. And so again, kind of some of the same information, so I'm just going to slowly scroll through. $29 billion in stock. It talks again about Dorsey, the Afterpay filled takeover interest, and 6 potential buyers. San Francisco-based Square, which is the large presence in St. Louis, wanted to provide buy now, pay later. Also talks about Cash App. So if you haven't looked into some of these in regards to what it's going to do in the future and what it could do to the future stock price and your retirement or your accounts period in the future, you definitely need to take a look at some of these and consider looking into them and getting into them. But like I said, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice. I'm just stating my opinion, but definitely something to watch. So Kathy Wood, I haven't heard anything about her in quite a while. Sells $55 million in Square after earnings report, trims $15 million in Snapchat, and buys $1.2 million in Amazon. So maybe she's getting ready for the Christmas run there. It's hard to say. I already see school stuff out, and there was something else for some other holiday I already saw out, and probably going to be seeing Christmas stuff out here in 2-3 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. So on Monday, I rushed to book profit in Square, which I'm sure a lot of others did. Shares of the company skyrocketed after the second quarter earnings result in the $29 billion Afterpay acquisition. Popular money managers investment management firm shed 202,000 shares, estimated worth of $55 million. Shares in Square closed 10.16 higher at 272.38 on Monday. And so, as we all know, ARK Invest, or ARKK, the next generation ETF, ARKW, to sell Square on Monday. Investment firm also holds Square in the ARK FinTech ETF, ARKF. So if you have any of those ARK funds or Square or any of these that we've talked about, go ahead and list that in the comments as well. Today the 3 ETFs held about 7.05 million shares, or $1.7 billion in Square, ahead of Monday's trade. So Time to cash out. And see if there's any information here. Square and Afterpay. Please don't fall for it seriously. I don't know what that means, but not much in there. So over here to StockTwits. Currently at 266.23 with a low of 133.60, high of 283.19, and 9.27 million shares on the average. Bears starting to panic now. Big V coming. Take profits and my put. Fastest turning around stock loading. Over here to tip ranks, and 28 ratings, 21 showing a buy, so not too bad. A moderate buy with a 13.82% upside to 301.71, high of 380, and a low of 185. But like I said, if you have Square, go ahead and list that in the comments along with your cost basis, any other information you want to share in regards to Square. And that way we can all share the information and make money together. That's what it's all about. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.